The city-state of Venice, a beacon of wealth for centuries, believed itself destined for greatness. By the High Renaissance, its near monopoly on trade with the East made it the wealthiest city in Europe. Under the governance of a benevolent republic, Venetians enjoyed freedoms unparalleled in Italy. Yet, this golden age was not to last. The discovery of the New World shifted power and wealth to the Atlantic, favoring the Spanish, Portuguese, Dutch, and English. Venice found itself unable to compete, and its once mighty empire began to crumble. The devastating loss of Cyprus to the Turks in 1570 delivered the final blow. As banks collapsed and noble families faced financial ruin, a widespread gloom blanketed the city. The stories of their glorious past felt like distant dreams, leading Venetians to believe that fortune itself was mocking them. In this moment of crisis, a flicker of hope began to emerge. In 1589, whispers of a man named Il Bragadino began to echo throughout the city. He was said to be a master alchemist with the ability to create gold using a secret substance. The prophecy of a Polish scholar had reached Venice, a man who understood alchemy could restore the city's former glory. Suddenly, the allure of Bragadino transformed into a beacon of hope. The noble families, eager to secure Bragadino's talents for their own benefit, journeyed to Brescia. They were amazed as he demonstrated his alleged abilities, turning a small amount of ordinary minerals into shining gold. Back in Venice, the Senate debated extending an official invitation to him, especially as news spread of the Duke of Mantua courting the Alchemist. Fearing they would lose Bragadino to Mantua, the Venetian Senate unanimously invited him to come to Venice, promising wealth to match the luxurious lifestyle he enjoyed. His arrival was highly anticipated. Late in the year, Bragadino arrived, accompanied by 2 large black dogs. He took residence in a luxurious palace on the Giudecca, with the city funding his extravagant lifestyle. An alchemy fever swept through Venice as vendors sold distilling apparatus and how-to books on the street. Enthusiasm turned to impatience as Bragadino delayed the promised gold. Month by month, he accepted gifts and tributes, allowing his reputation to grow, yet the miraculous wealth they longed for never appeared. The disbelief grew as the noble families and citizens began to question his loyalty. Senators initially asked for patience, fearing the capricious nature of the alchemist. Yet, increasing frustration led to mounting pressure to see results. Bragadino, indifferent to the rising tensions, claimed that he had already deposited a mysterious substance in the city's mint. He explained that while it could yield immediate results, a prolonged wait would multiply the gold 30 times over. The allure of such a grand promise silenced most dissent, although whispers of discontent continued. When confronted, Bragadino loftily declared that Venice's impatience would cost them dearly. He left for Padua, and later Munich, where he resumed his lavish lifestyle, perpetuating the cycle of deception that had once enchanted Venice. The man behind the facade, Mamugna, had thrived, not simply through flashy demonstrations but by tapping into the deepest desires of human nature. He understood the power of illusion, crafting a reputation that fed off the illusion of alchemy while avoiding the burden of reality. Just as the citizens of Venice yearned for a savior, they shunned the discomforting truth surrounding their socio-economic collapse. They rather embraced fantasy over reality, seeking redemption from some faceless external force rather than facing the consequences of their own actions. The people of Venice, eager for gold, began to grow impatient. "When will the gold come?" they asked, their trust beginning to fade. In response, Bragadino spun a tale, claiming it would take 7 more years for his magic to unfold. Before becoming Bragadino, he was Mamugna, a man who understood the art of manipulation. Instead of showing off his skills, he relied on his reputation. His power lay in the illusion he created, never allowing people to touch or feel it. To support himself, Bragadino turned to gambling, and he was surprisingly good at it. But as the days went by, his debts piled up. By May, his luxurious rooms in Venice were sealed off by creditors, leaving him with even fewer options. In a twist of fate, he was able to get forgiveness from the Pope by paying a fine and joining the Knights of Malta. However, this new chapter wouldn't last long. His role as court alchemist for the Duke soon involved the same patterns, dodging responsibilities and making promises of great wealth. By late April 1591, the patience of those around him finally ran out. The alchemist who had captivated Europe with his grand promises was about to meet his end, resulting in his public execution. In today's world, where instant gratification is king, many prefer quick fixes over hard work. You can't achieve success and wealth if you insist on strict honesty. Sometimes, you must bend the truth to sell an idea or a product. Remember, not all fantasies are just illusions. At times, reality itself has a flair for drama, and what seems simple can often capture our deepest desires. The way we present ourselves can profoundly influence how others perceive us. In times of scarcity and despair, the allure of the fantastical appears more inviting than the harsh truths of existence. For those able to create dreams, the power is immense, by appealing to fantasies instead of offering the stark reality of hard work. The city learned, perhaps too late, that sometimes, the most extravagant lies can be much more comforting than the bitter truth. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe for weekly stories, and turn on notifications, so you never miss a video.